So do you remember how we had that Xbox Keystone leak that got out there, and it was talks around a streaming box that Microsoft was going to release to be part of their Xbox ecosystem, kind of to go alongside of the cloud streaming that they've been pushing pretty heavily with Game Pass. But then we hear that they decided to shelve the unit, and quite literally, as Phil Spencer had it on his shelf in the background in a video. Well, we had some more comments from Phil Spencer around exactly why they shelved this device, and I think it's what we all basically expected when we talked about it a couple months ago. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if new to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's head over here to The Verge. They had a pretty lengthy and good conversation with Phil Spencer about all kinds of things. Seemed to focus in mostly on the Activision Blizzard Call of Duty situation with PlayStation and the CMA. However, they did discuss that Xbox Keystone streaming box, and he gave the reason as to why it didn't come to market, at least hasn't yet. He says it was more expensive than we wanted it to be when we actually built it out with the hardware that we had inside. Discussing the Keystone prototype device that appeared on his office shelves, we decided to focus that team's effort on delivering the smart TV streaming app. Microsoft wanted to aim for around $129 to $99 for this Xbox streaming device, according to Spencer, and hints that bundling a controller with the streaming console, as well as Microsoft's silicone component choices, had pushed the price up closer to the $299 Xbox Series S, which, by the way, is on sale this holiday for $250. So if it was already kind of close to $299, would have looked very awkward during Black Friday and the overall holiday sale sitting next to that price point. But this is something that I've talked about before. The idea here is to get this thing as cheap as possible. This has to be impulse buy first and foremost. You walk in, you go, oh, wow, an Xbox, and it's $70 or it's $80 or something like that. Then you kind of get in the mindset of, well, I'll just pick this up now, as opposed to walking in and kind of having that internal discussion with yourself when it comes to bills and finances and all this, when you're looking at a $500 machine that also needs a $60 or $70 game on top of that, or subscription service, headsets, all these other things. It's a bit easier to throw the $80 box in your cart while you're walking by than that. The thing that he mentioned is that bundling a controller with it probably pushed the price up a bit more. And I mean, it comes down to everything that's inside that box, and that is something they'll have to consider if they want to get this price down, because it seems like they shelved it but haven't forgotten about it. I still think this could come to market at some point when they work out some of the issues around what's included with it and what exactly they want it to be. Because they mentioned the silicone that they used inside of it pushed up the price, and we know right now that parts, the components that go into these have gone up in price. We know that there was the supply chain disruption. All this happening, I'm sure, while they were developing this device over the last couple years, right? Like it takes a little longer than a few months to put one of these together when it comes to the overall phase of concept and then trying to bring it to market to where you have a box that you could even just put on your back shelf. They seem to be pretty far along with this thing. So they would have to probably go back to the drawing board and decide what they want it to do. Do they want it to play games natively in any way possible? I mean, mobile games, which, hey, when they eventually, we assume, close this deal with Activision Blizzard, they'll have King involved and Candy Crush and probably other mobile games that they will look to bring under their umbrella and their ecosystem. That's something that could run natively, or you could make deals with other third parties and essentially maybe bring in this Xbox marketplace that we've heard could tie things together on mobile. Maybe that's part of this push for Keystone. The other thing is maybe they just go, you know what, it's a streaming box and that's kind of it. It can also play Netflix and Amazon Prime Video and basically be that Roku box that has access to an Xbox application and can recognize multiple Xbox controllers. That's something else that's pretty important here. You would want it to be able to sync up 4 controllers so you can play with a bunch of your friends on a couch or something and just stream the game into that box. And I mentioned before that I think the controller is one of the biggest roadblocks when it comes to cloud gaming and reaching the 2 billion gamers out there. Don't necessarily know they're gamers yet. And I wasn't really meaning it in this way because it was pushing the price up. I just mean not everyone is looking to pick up a controller and just be completely natural with it right out of the gate. That's one of the reasons that Netflix and these more passive entertainment experiences work so well versus what we're seeing with gaming trying to break into that streaming market. And until they figure out the controller situation, I think it's going to be tough. But if they do, the stream box that maybe doesn't need a controller right out of the gate would be a bit easier to market and sell at a reduced price. So there's your reason for why they ended up at least shelving or canceling this Xbox Keystone for now. I think there's a future for it. I just think we're a ways off from that being a thing. Could potentially be something towards the end of this current Xbox Series generation. We'll just have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. The one use that I like the idea here is if they just sold the box, sure, it has the ability to stream games from the cloud. I like the idea of it as a remote play box where it's $50, we'll say, for the box, no controller. You can put it in multiple rooms, and you can walk between your rooms with your controller, sync them up, or just have a controller dedicated to it, and it'll stream from your main Xbox Series, maybe downstairs, and you have a little box upstairs in your bedroom. That would be a good use, kind of similar to that Steam Link. But let me know what you guys think about all of this down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.